Good evening to you and to your viewers. Israel took this strike against the wishes of President Trump. President Trump had wanted more time for diplomacy to see if Iran would accept his final offer for a deal. But it looked as though Iran was poised to say no, that it insisted on the controlling enrichment in its own territory. And from Israel's standpoint, this meant that it could secretly develop a nuclear bomb anytime it wanted to. So Israel felt that it had no choice, and President Trump, although he would have preferred that Israel not make the strike, he certainly understood that Israel felt that it had no choice for its national survival. So this is where we are. Retaliation, counterstrikes. We will see more of these for the next several days. Yes, as well as other countries that it has worked to destabilize. Certainly, its presence in Lebanon has resulted in that country going from a virtual paradise on the Mediterranean to being an economic basket case. Iran's meddling in the politics of Baghdad is very well known to your viewers. It's attempted to destabilize governments in Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, which it attacked in 2019, and in Yemen, where it has threatened international shipping that much of the world relies on. So the problem is that Iran has proven over and over again its willingness to destabilize the region, but its desire to wipe out the state of Israel is unique. There are almost no other examples of this kind of naked ambition, except perhaps Vladimir Putin towards Ukraine. But you won't see what Iran is doing almost anywhere else in the world. Uh, the trappings of democracy are one thing. I mean, Iran itself has elections, but it carefully limits who is allowed to run in them. And every time the Iranian people have expressed their desire for reform, for a government free of massive corruption, for a government that focuses on solving its internal problems, instead of meddling in foreign quarrels, every time this happens, the Iranian people are told who they can vote for. And even when they vote for the most reformist candidate, such as the current Iranian president, Pezeshkian, then his powers are limited. And only the supreme leader, who is accountable to almost no one, he is the one who decides on Iran's security policy. Iran carries this attitude into other countries. It wants other governments to have military forces that are not under the control of the state. And this means those countries become weak and prone to enormous problems, as Lebanon itself has shown. I think eventually Iran will come back to the table. One of the things that the United States could try to do is to guarantee the safety of the Iranian foreign minister to fly to the talks by requiring Israel to refrain from attacks on the day of his travel. So I think that there will eventually be further negotiations. But President Trump has made it clear today that he sees Iran's interests as being served by it entering into an agreement with the United States rather than continuing to adopt policies that have only brought death and destruction on Iran, as we have seen in the last 24 hours. Well, so President Trump and Secretary of State Rubio have made it clear that the United States did not participate in this attack. But it is true that the United States supports Israel's defense against Iranian missile attacks. And I think we're likely to see that pattern continue. It will be there will be a number of countries that will be trying to de-escalate the situation. There will be a number of efforts to try to limit the responses. But at this point, the military campaign Israel is carrying out looks likely to continue. And so we will probably see continued targeting of military sites on both sides until eventually one side will say it has had enough. Well, I certainly hope that Iran does not do that because there would be a massive American military response. As powerful as Israeli air forces are, the United States military is many times more powerful. And it could produce enormous devastation against Iranian military sites, its air forces, its naval forces, its ground capability. And so Iranian military leaders certainly know that the United States is so powerful, it could leave Iran's military in a smoldering wreckage if it wanted to. So for this reason, I think that it would be best for Iran not to try to draw the United States into the conflict that already exists between Israel and Iran. Well, it depends what those proxies target. Certainly, the Houthis in Yemen were told not to attack American shipping. There was a deal worked out a while ago after a number of U.S. military strikes. But the Houthis say they will continue to shoot at Israeli ships. There just aren't very many of them. If the militias inside Iraq try to attack Israel, Israel has the ability to defend itself against any such attacks. But if the militias tried to attack American targets, this would obviously be against the wishes of the Iraqi government. And there would undoubtedly be a very forceful American military response. So it would be best if these militias, as apparently Hezbollah in Lebanon is doing, simply stayed out of the fighting right now because there is not that much that they could do, even if they wanted to try to help their Iranian ally. I don't know what the militias are going to do. They are obviously under some influence from Tehran, but at the same time, they have to look out for their own survival. Oh, America's position would be to retaliate against any force that attacks American installations or personnel. Well, so he is hoping that Iran will stop its efforts to develop nuclear weapons, that it will discontinue its desire for military power to dominate its Arab, Kurdish, and other neighbors, and that it will become as a normal country with peaceful relations with all of its neighbors, including obviously Kurdistan. It's not clear right now that Iran's leaders are willing to make such a commitment. And so this is a challenge that is faced by the entire region. How do you get Iran to behave like other countries and to have good relations with all of their neighbors? This is the one of the most important security questions facing the Middle East. And so far, all we have seen have been very hostile intentions directed at Iran, not just towards Israel, but against Saudi Arabia, against Bahrain, against the government of Yemen that it displaced in 2016, and so forth. So the question is, when will Iran become a normal country? And obviously, the sooner it does, the better for the entire Middle East. Well, so the question of what Iran tries to do, they have certainly made public statements suggesting that they're going to hold the United States responsible for what the sovereign government of Israel does. That would be a military mistake. It could draw in other countries. One of the problems, as we are seeing in the last 24 hours, when an Iranian missile fell onto a Palestinian village, is that when you fire missiles up in the air, you don't have perfect control over where they land. And so the possibility of accidents and miscalculation is an inherent part of war. And that ought to give Iran pause that it should not attack other countries, especially if it would be attacking territory of countries that Iran wants to stay neutral in this war. That would include both Iraq and the Kurdistan region. So the hope is that Iran uses more restraint than we have seen so far, so that it doesn't expand the conflict beyond what it already is. We certainly can hope so. One of the things that I think the episode that we're in right now will lead to will be a more determined effort by the United States and other countries to bring about a peace between Israel and Gaza. This would be the start of an improvement in the security situation in the entire region. There are obviously many difficulties, many differences, but President Trump is committed to trying to bridge those differences. With regard to the Iranian nuclear program, we will have to see what Israel is able to do in terms of trying to degrade Iran's nuclear capabilities. Many people are saying that the best that Israel could hope for would be to slow down the Iranian nuclear program and to set it back by, let's say, 2 to 3 years. If Iran continues to want to build nuclear weapons, we could be in the same situation 2 years from now that we are in tonight. But if Iran realizes there is no point in its attempting to get nuclear weapons because Israel or the United States or other countries will block that, it would be better off then to try to make a deal that would lift the crippling sanctions that countries have imposed upon Iran, and it would seek to have better relations with all of its neighbors. And this would be a path towards greater prosperity for Iran and peace for the entire Middle East. But this is up to the leaders in Tehran to decide what direction they want the country to go in.